Hi, I'm back. This is Dr. Alex C. I would like to show you how to create the simple queue design. So to begin, have your LabVIEW 2015 launch. Go to New VI. Okay, I'm going to do a Windows, tile left and right. So to begin, allow me to put in two waveform chart as shown over here. So I'll put one chart and I will rename it to call this one the waveform chart number 1. Okay, I would like to resize, so I've selected the text label waveform chart 1 and I hold down my control key on my keyboard and I press the plus button on your keyboard to resize it to be larger. So I have chart 1, I will just duplicate this. I can do a copy and paste, and I can do a paste here. So I have chart 2. Okay, waveform chart 2. Now the next thing I would like to do is I would maybe get a little bit more real estate space here. I would then proceed to my structures, go to while loop. Okay, I'm going to drop two while loops here. Okay, while loop 1 and while loop 2, and I would proceed to select this while. I could add a label to it, so I'm going to go to right click on my mouse, visible item. I'll use the this feature called the sub diagram label. So right click, visible item, sub diagram label, and I will call this while loop 1. Okay, so I'm going to just resize a bit bigger using the same technique. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, do a Control C and a Control V. Let's do the same for this. Right click, visible item, sub diagram label, paste this. So I'll call this while loop number 2. I'm going to put this one here and one over here. Now the next thing is to get a stop button over on the first while loop 1. Right click on your mouse, create a control. Okay, so I have a nice stop button. Then I would like to proceed to show you the palette. Right click on the function palette, go to navigate to synchronization, navigate to this called queue operations. Okay, perhaps what I can do is that let me pin this palette onto the desktop. So let's click on, you see this little thumbtack pin, right? So let's pin it. So I need a obtain queue. So let me get one of these out. Right click on it, visible item, switch on the label. So I have obtain queue. Then I also need an enqueue element, right? Enqueue element. So I'm going to put the enqueue element inside here. Right click on my mouse, visible item, switch on the label, and then I need a dequeue element. Dequeue, put it here. Right click on my mouse, visible item, turn on the label. Okay, so I think and of course finally I need one more item, which is this thing called the release queue element. Now you need to release the queue to destroy, so that LabVIEW frees up the memory and your system will be able to carry on utilizing whatever memory space that is available for your Windows. So it is very important that after you have utilized the queue feature or the mechanism, you have to destroy the queue. Release queue means to destroy the queue. Right, proceeding on, I will look for the random number generator. Right, I'm going to put one of these random number generator, switch on the label, and I also need a constant. So I'm switching back to my numeric palette. I'm going to get one of these constant, a numeric constant, put it here. Okay, so let's get started. Now first thing first, you need to bring out your tools palette. Okay, let's go to view, tools palette. Put the tools palette here. I'm going to use the wiring tool. bring the wiring tool to the input of this thing called the queue name. Now every queue must have a name. Okay, the very first one in pink color. So currently is not connected, so you need to right click on the wire there, create a constant. Okay, so let's call it my queue. Right, and now every queue must have a queue name. Okay, so this is called a queue name called my queue. Now for this one is called the element data type. Element data. Now it's the second terminal. Okay, called the element data type. Now you need to tell LabVIEW, the queue mechanism, what kind of data that is going to be going into your queue. Right, so for our case, because we are going to generate the random number, right? Yeah, which is a floating point number. So we need to wire this into the element data type. So what you're trying to do here is that we are trying to define what is the data that is going into this queue. We are not, in a way, trying to say that we are sending a numeric 0 into the queue. We are just saying that we are defining the type of data in LabVIEW. Now proceed further, I would then connect the queue reference out to the queue reference into the enqueue element function, and also the error out goes to the error in of the next function. Then I would then proceed. I'll put the waveform chart over here. I'm going to wire the random number output to this waveform chart 1, and at the same time I'll move this a bit to the right and wire the random number output to the element input. Okay, as you can see over here, the element input, the second element input, okay, to the random number generator output. Then I will proceed to wire the output to the release queue. Okay, click over here and connect the reference out to the release queue. This is quite an important step, so I'm going to bring it down. Okay, as shown. Okay, so they have completed the first part of the code, the first while loop 1. So you're able to generate the random number and feed it into the queue. So at the bottom loop here, the while loop 2, we're going to dequeue the element. Now one more thing is missing is that I need to put on the wait millisecond timer. You switch on the label. I'm going to put in about, say, 100 millisecond. Okay, so that concludes the first the while loop number 1. Let's proceed to while loop number 2. Now I will then pull the reference into the queue element here, as well as the error out to here, and I would then extract. As you can see over here, I'm going to take the second element output from the dequeue element function. Alright, because you already define what the data type is going to be, right, based on the reference queue. Right, earlier we created the obtain queue. We already defined the initial values. So therefore this reference queue, you can see that the wires to this reference queue, there's an orange color wire which stands for floating number. So I'm going to extract the element here to the waveform chart number 2. Okay, so that should help me pull out. I'm going to wire also the queue out to the edge of this while loop, and this error out to here as shown. Okay, that should be okay. Okay, let's go something like this. Now because how I stop the second loop is that because in the beginning part, at the first while loop 1, if you terminate the while loop here, you will then send the queue reference out to this release queue element, which will destroy the queue. Now once you destroy the queue here, the queue reference will no longer be valid. So when you come to the second while loop at the bottom, the dequeue reference will be destroyed and that will generate an error. So how we use that to terminate the second while loop is that we extract the error out. Now how do we do that? So what we can do is that we right click, okay, we go to the cluster, we will unbundle by name. Okay, notice we are using this unbundle by name function over here. So click on this unbundle by name. Let me show you again. Right click, go to cluster palette. Okay, unbundle by name. Right click on this and put it here. So we'll wire the error out here to the input cluster and wire the status, okay, to the loop condition terminal here. So when the first loop, while loop 1 is terminated, the queue is destroyed. Okay, so when what is being reflected in the while loop 2 is that the error out will generate an error, and the error will be true for the status, which will be sent to this while loop termination terminal condition here to terminate the while loop. Okay, so basically I think what we need, one last item would be this thing called the wait millisecond, which I'm just going to make a copy here, and yeah, we are ready to go. Okay, so we are able to, as you can see on the front panel here, diagram here, you see you are able to generate the two different identical chart and display on the waveform chart. Okay, let me stop first. What you can also do is to right click on that waveform chart itself, switch to visible item, select the digital display. Okay, that should display the digital value of this chart. You can resize it. Yeah, it's the thing that I always do. Right, select the object and then do the resize. So likewise for this also, visible item, digital display. Okay, then you can simply just resize this indicator, numeric indicator as shown over here. Alright, so you can run this program again. So you can see that we have successfully created this simple queue design using the obtain queue and queue element, and also the dequeue element function accordingly. So I can stop this program and the program stops. Now please remember to save your program. Please save this program called simple queue design. Design. Right, save your code, save your VI. Click OK and we are done. So thanks for watching this video. I'll pause the video now. Thank you.